status ever affected any of the close, intimate relationships that you've had? If so, why is that the case? Why is competitiveness a killer of genuine intimacy? I'm Dr. Sharon Heath. This is Topics in Psychology. Let's get into it. I've seen so many relationships where people need to keep proving themselves, or they need to show that they're the smartest or the more capable. And so there's a competition that arises. Who's the coolest? Who's the wisest? Who's the most well-read? Who's the best traveled? Who's got the most money? Who's got the most looks? It can be anything. So when that comes up, it destroys trust in a relationship. So what do we do about that? All you can control is your part in what goes on. If somebody shares something, does it bring up that feeling of competitiveness in you that you have to prove you're better or that you did a better job at whatever it was they're talking about? Competitiveness makes people feel alone. The existential psychologists talk about being alone, isolated, is fundamentally how we are. Competitiveness, I'm better than you are, I'm more worthy than you are. And I'll give you a practical example of how that shows up in a moment. But it kills love, it kills trust, it kills closeness. So one of the ways that it comes up usually happens sometime in the early part of a relationship after the honeymoon phase is over, where everything they do is wonderful and everything you do is wonderful and you only see good things about each other. After that period starts to fade, there's a very significant competition that comes up. It is the most natural competition that shows up for people I have seen over and over again. What they compete about is whose needs are more important. You want to do this, and I want to do something different. And whose needs are going to be taken care of there? Whose wishes are going to be taken care of there? And people get in conflict about why their needs are important and the other person's shouldn't be taken into consideration. You may have experienced this. It's not uncommon. When we're afraid our needs aren't going to get met, and when we see the other person not listening or not interested or not making it important to them, we get really anxious. And when we're anxious, it doesn't bring out the best in us. So when it comes up, when there's this competition for needs, to be able to talk about it, that these needs are coming up and they seem to be clashing, and that's normal at this part in a relationship because it takes time for people to learn how to dance well together. So let's talk about out loud. You have needs, I have needs. Sometimes they fit together, sometimes they don't. That doesn't necessarily mean that anything's wrong or anything wrong with you or wrong with me or the relationship. But what we can do at that moment is let's acknowledge that you have needs and I have needs and that sometimes they don't work. And when that comes up for us, let's talk about it. This is what my need is, or this is what my wish is. What's your need? And what is your wish? When two people can care for the other person's needs and wishes as well as their own, you've really got a foundation for a good relationship. So, how have you run into competition in your relationships? Being the smartest one, your needs being the most important, and how's that affected your relationships? If you want to share that in the comments, I read all the comments. See you soon.